Although they look like pretty much certainties to win Serie A every single year, Juventus currently sit a few points behind AC Milan. So what can Andrea Pirlo do in January to turn it around and even take them to a Champions League final? First up, and there's some big transfer decisions to be made, I think he needs to get rid of a bit of deadwood in midfield, not only to free up some space in the squad, but also maybe just to bring in a little bit of money. First off, Sami Khedira's not even registered in the squad. He looks definitely set to leave the club. Secondly, there's Aaron Ramsey. I mean, they brought him in on a free, so there's not really any money lost there. Yes, they're paying him an incredible amount of money per week, but he's just not at Juventus's level. I just can't see how he's going to muscle his way into the team, and once he's done that and he's in the starting 11, then provide the goals, the assists and the creativity that Juventus so desperately need from midfield. Their midfield 2-3 sometimes involves the likes of Rabiot, Bentancur and Arthur, and aside from Arthur, they just play so passively. It's always side to side, they don't really have that creative spark in midfield. It's evidenced in the fact that at the time of filming, they've only got 2 goals and 2 assists in all competitions between all of them. This includes Weston McKennie as well, and under the stipulations of his loan deal, he may or may not be signing on a permanent transfer from Schalke. So what can they do in the midfield area to bring in a world-class player? Well, there is one name on the list. And that name is, of course, Paul Pogba. Mino Raiola has opened his mouth, Pogba's agent, and said that he's not happy at United, he's going to move, and a move back to Turin is potentially on the cards. He spent 4 successful years there between 2012 and 2016, and even though he left a few years ago, Juve still have the same problem in the midfield, and he's still the answer. Like I mentioned before with the other players, he's box to box, scores a load of goals when he's in the right positions, can be extraordinarily creative, talented, and will definitely be the best midfielder at Juventus. I mean, former Juve great Claudio Marchisio even tweeted him the other day saying he'd love to see him back in a Juve shirt, and on top of this, Andrea Pirlo played alongside Pogba. He knows all about him, he can trust him, and he knows how to get the best out of the French midfielder. I've no doubt that this would be a stunning move, but you're probably asking yourself, Matt, how are they going to put together the money to sign Paul Pogba? Well, the answer could lie in someone they've already got in the squad, and that is Paulo Dybala. This is one of the biggest question marks over Andrea Pirlo at the moment. What can he do, and will he do with the Argentinian? Let's move aside any doubt about his talent. He's quality. We know it, it's unbelievable how good a player he is, so there's no question mark over that. The question mark for me is, how does he fit into the Juventus team? I mean, Pirlo's tactic changes sometimes mid-game from 4 midfield to 3 in midfield to 3 up top to even 4 up top, but they're always playing with 2 strikers in Cristiano Ronaldo and Alvaro Morata. This means that with the wide players as well, Dybala doesn't really have a place to fit in. When he's made his few appearances that he's made this season, he's played in numerous positions through the middle, but never quite in one settled role. He's not a goal scorer like Cristiano Ronaldo, going to get the same amount of goals. He's not an all-round forward like Alvaro Morata. He's not a wide player, and they've heavily invested in these positions with the likes of Chiesa, Bernardeschi, Kulusevski, so he's not going to take one of their roles. Moving a bit further back, like I mentioned before with the central midfielders, he's not going to move into central midfield. These guys are playing sideways balls and about 60 yards away from the action, getting nowhere near the goal. The spot for Dybala, that number 10 role in the hole, just isn't really there, and it doesn't look like, no matter how many times Pirlo changes his tactics, that there really is going to be a position for him. Of course, they'll want to hold on to a good player because he is a good player, but on the flip side, selling him, and apparently he's been offered to the Big Six in the Premier League, selling him could bring in a fair bit of money. Maybe enough to cover a Pogba fee, maybe not. Who knows, maybe they should just go for a straight swap. Dybala to Manchester United, Pogba to Juve, everybody's happy. So the fourth one on this list, and we've tackled the attacking areas, but what about the defensive positions? Especially left back. Now, in terms of Juventus transfer strategy, they've been well known for signing free transfers, quality free transfers, and none of them get more quality than David Alaba. Currently, he is at Bayern Munich. Of course he is. He's been there a very long time, but it looks as though his stay at the German champions is coming to an end. A new deal has been taken off the table. His contract runs out next summer, and as of January 1st, Alaba is free to speak to any club outside of the Bundesliga. Of course, every big team wants him. He's a quality defender who can play quality in a fair few positions, and he's just a brilliant all-round footballer. Which team wouldn't want him, including Juventus? The problem with Juve at the moment is that they're kind of having a makeshift fullback slash left centre-back of a back three and it's not always working. Alexandro's been injured, and as for Danilo, he's not a left back by trade. He's been playing left back and then left of a centre back three, and it's kind of gone okay, but it's not really ideal, especially if you're going to be challenging on all fronts and playing some of the biggest and best attackers in Europe. With David Alaba, as we've seen at Bayern Munich, started off as a left back where he's brilliant, then moved into centre-back where he's equally brilliant. So having a hybrid of these two positions is exactly what Juventus need, and as I mentioned before, if he's going to come in on a free transfer, even if he comes in January, in which case Bayern will probably only be able to charge a nominal fee, they've definitely then got the money to offer him a big wage. He's going to a massive club, and it looks like, of all the transfers on this list, this one just fits. Before we move on though, make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit the bell notifications as well to keep up to date with all of the stuff we've got going on. And lastly but not least, the third choice striker. This is a very difficult one for Juventus. They're in the position where, although Ronaldo may not need to play every single game, he could get a rest here and there against some of the smaller teams, and Alvaro Morata, if he can keep up his form, great, but he hasn't exactly proven that over his career. They need a good third option. Juve are always playing with two strikers. Certainly Ronaldo coming in off that left-hand side, and that's where the tactic actually quite changes. It's proven that Dybala just is not playing at the current level and maybe just can't play in a front two. When he comes in, as we mentioned before, it's like a supporting striker kind of role. So maybe he could do that if Ronaldo and Morata aren't playing with another forward up front, maybe a big man, maybe someone like Olivier Giroud. There's been so much talk about the Chelsea forward leaving the club because he's not getting regular game time ahead of France's Euro 2021 campaign. He is out of contract to the end of the season. There has been talk about him moving to Juve's rivals Inter as well. And so if they see that he's going to be available despite the fact he's hitting the back of the net regularly for France and Chelsea, then they may as well go ahead and swoop in. Like with David Alaba, the fact that he's running out of contract means Giroud will go for no more than 5 million, I can imagine, and they'll definitely have the money to offer him. The thing is he going to move from being a bench player at Chelsea to being a bench player at Juve? I don't think so, but personally, it looks like there's more chance that he'll be getting some game time at Juve than at Chelsea. If Timo Werner grows into, well, everything that he thought he could be, and that everyone else thought he could be, he'll be on fine form. They've also got so many attackers behind that. Tammy Abraham is also brilliant. These guys are just so much younger than Giroud that he's going to find it hard to break into the team on a consistent basis. As you mentioned, with Cristiano Ronaldo needing a break and with Alvaro Morata not necessarily being completely consistent, maybe there's more chance for Giroud to play at Juve. That's 5 potential transfer decisions for Andrea Pirlo in January at Juventus, but you guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. You can also check out the rest of the stuff on OneFootball here and here, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.